And when I start to record the journey, this becomes telepathic. It's not psychic. It has nothing to do with positive and negative streams in the lower worlds. It's telepathic. We're all naturally telepathic as spherical beings, as the Atma. The body and brain and mind that you have is not telepathic. It's not psychic. It does not visualize anything. The human brain doesn't have a mechanism in it to visualize going to the store. People think it's coming from their brain, but it isn't. Brain cells do not have a series of brain cells that act like a camera that project an image on other brain cells so you can see stuff. This is how people, really stupidly, how people think down here. Because they don't know any better. They're not taught any differently. So they don't imagine going to other planets, going and meeting beings from other worlds, going to higher dimensions. They just don't do it. Well, they do it, but they don't know they're doing it. They don't bring any of it back. So this is what these journeys are designed to do. They're designed to help you recover some of your natural higher faculties. And the only thing in the way of those being turned on is some form of subconscious fear influencing or misdirecting the person from doing it. This goes back before you were born into galactic history, how you got to be on Earth with little or no memory. And this is the condition of 8 billion people on this planet. And if it doesn't change, they will succeed at annihilating themselves again, and not for the first time on this world. It's because of life and beings coming here to this planet for many years that we haven't had a nuclear war. It's not because of government leaders. They tried to do it. Their launch computers were shut down from space. That's very highly classified. It's higher than the hydrogen bomb or anything like that. Because governments don't want to tell their people, their militaries and themselves cannot protect them from more advanced races outside this Earth. They're just too much more evolved. And if they wanted to kick our ass and come here, they would have done it a long time ago. So there is an organization of world systems out there that prevents what few tyrant races remained in the galaxy from taking over this world because they tried. World War II was an example of their attempt to get a person to annihilate 3/4 of the population, a tyrant. That failed. So we're stuck with the programming and that was done to people here before they were born, compelled to live in a body with no memory or very little. And it was done to all of us. The first thing a person has to do to really recover who they are and use their higher faculties, two things. All fear of the present and future must be set aside. There's no such thing as fear of the present and future working with higher faculties of being. They do not blend at all. So the more advanced beings do not work with a subconscious influence in any way because they don't have a subconscious mind. People on Earth do. They're not supposed to. Two-stranded DNA human beings with some of the genome shut down, that goes back in galactic history and onto Earth's history and how they were passed on genetically this way, that also is not normal. Most of the races out among the stars have 4-stranded DNA, not 2, as human beings. All of us have Say rays DNA. The Say rays, most of you know, Lee and Susan and Marge, have 12-stranded DNA. They did. They don't have physical bodies anymore. They immortalized their bodies over 1 billion years ago in a very special way. They simply stored the DNA, just simply dematerialized their bodies and stored that pattern in one of the little teardrop higher faculties in the first layer of color around the white core of their being as an Atma, as a spherical being. We are all spherical beings. Planets and moons and suns and stars are round because they're made in the image of their creators. And that means we were at the source, with source, at the beginning, creating all this nonsense. Nothing wrong with worlds or galaxies or any of that. It's the people and the beings and what they do to each other that's the problem, not the creation. So the old failed experiment of good and evil, which it is a failed experiment, backfired terribly. We all had a responsibility in it. There's no point in blaming a devil or a Satan or anything like this, because that's a scapegoat. To wake up and be fully mature, conscious co-creators with Source, which is our true destiny. We cannot be carrying revenge and blaming others. That doesn't work. That keeps people recycling here, one life after another with no memory, or very little. So the journeys take place in space, not in Earth's negatively impacted atmosphere. That's quite impossible. The water vapor in Earth's atmosphere and in the oceans on Earth is depleted. This first sound behind creation, which comes from the first half of the word human or hue, when we sing it or say it, it simply mimics the sound of the 0 point or toroidal energy of the universe. It mirrors the sound that space makes out there. It's not a physical sound. The Atma out of their body can hear it and see it. When you're awake enough, you can hear and see it when you're running around on Earth. But it will never be your physical eyes and ears that hear or see it. It's you. If you imagine going to the store, then it is the spherical you that is seeing it, because it is a multidimensional capable being. All the different layers of teardrop-shaped faculties and colors in the Atma have a function relative to the multidimensional creation. So one of the first things you have to start to remember, most people on Earth are terrified to remember who and what they are that isn't physical. They're terrified to actually confront face-to-face the supreme being they worship. They don't really want to meet it face-to-face. They want to believe in something because it's easier that way than have to change. And people on Earth, if you haven't noticed, are very reluctant to change at all. So this is not a normal planet of people. And how everybody got here with no memory is part of what this work is about and why it was brought to Earth. Before we begin a journey like this, we do the hue together 5 times. And it represents the physical universe. There's many levels to it. The astral, where all emotion comes from. The causal, the mental, and the etheric. The bodies you have and you're running there are transparent. Not made of matter as you know it here. And yet they are not free either. Because above the etheric is the void. And the void is a very vast area of the pure first sound behind creation, the omnipresent living power. One power everywhere, supporting all these little galaxies. But the space that is that power is vast. Infinitely vast beyond the little galaxies that float in it. And that energy moves itself in different frequencies, let's use that term, so that it supports the different levels. It's a mechanical structure. There are beings in the universe who run the mechanics of creation. They are not beings who have had any real association with us or direct contact with Atmas like us. They are Atmas, but much more evolved. They don't really, it's not their task to mix it up with us. They maintain the creation. The one place we can meet with them and rub shoulders with them is in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. This is the place that was built in a special parallel dimension between the top of Satnam's realm and the 6th realm. And both of those realms are at the top end or above the void. The void is a pure hue energy, sound energy, that is a barrier between the upper realities, and there are many, that have no negative nature and never have, and the lower dimensions of time and space where good and bad and all that stuff happens. That terrible drama. We were never meant to come down here and get lost and trapped and forget everything and to be stuck in bodies. Mostly people think they're a body and wonder where their soul is. They don't know what soul is. They talk about it. They haven't got a clue what it looks like. They think it's something that they have in their back pocket or in a shelf or somewhere else. That's completely backward. We are an Atma. We are a spherical being. Remember this, planets and moons and suns and stars are round because they're made in the image of that which is not matter, energy, space, and time. Those worlds are made of electrons and atoms and gases and all that stuff. We are made of the energy in space that surrounds all that. And that's the same energy at the source itself. The source itself is many dimensions above the Atma plane, which is the first major, I don't want to call it a heaven, you'll have all kinds of religious connotations about it, but it is the first plane above the void. My work, I've guided 3 Buddhist monks on this planet above the void because their teaching says the void is the supreme being. They don't imagine or go any higher. So I took them higher, me and beings that I work with. Why? Because we can. And they were willing. So 1 left Buddhism, 2 of them have stayed, and they'll be much more aware within their order to help beings in it, help them go further. And that was the whole point of it. The first sound behind creation is a sound. Not like a sound like yelling or a sound of a trumpet or a car going by or something, or Earth's atmosphere. Those are sounds ears hear when the molecules in the air are disturbed by vibrations. This is what we call hearing. The sounds we hear that go far beyond that limited stuff, beyond Earth, are the sounds the universe makes. The Atma, the spherical being we are, is capable of hearing and seeing this and traveling on it because we are made, the white core of our being is made of exactly the same thing, identical to the source itself. What I mean by source or prime creator is what people call the supreme being, but they're referring to beings that run the lower worlds of time and space. They're not referring to the source behind all life. They don't know this. So they can't go there, they can't experience it. And as I mentioned, most people on Earth are terrified to remember who and what they are that is not a body. Because there's subconscious programs placed in them to terrorize them. It says if you ever try to remember what happened to you, we'll kill you and eat you alive again. And stuff like that. None of which is true because they are no longer operating in our solar system. There are no reptilians in underground bases on planet Earth, no matter what you hear on the internet. All that's based on promoting and maintaining fear, because fear makes money. Simple as that. News people, all of that makes money by promoting fear. Products, everything you can think of, and most governments make money promoting fear. Once you begin to understand this, eventually you'll cross paths with this work, which did not originate on this planet. It didn't. It took me a lifetime to go out of body beyond with other beings, masterful beings that fly around in spaceships, for one thing, and be able to bring this back here. For my part, I had to go above the void with Satnam and into worlds above the void to create something new that never existed before. Because it didn't. Because the real reason for going back to source, which we're all destined to do, is to contribute your unique nature and experiences to that source. It's not selfish. Give me this and give me that. Anybody can do that. It's about giving something back and becoming a trustworthy co-creator with the source behind all life, because that is our destiny, and not anyone will ever be able to avoid that destiny. Sooner or later, they'll get up enough courage to leap forward despite the subconscious fear that's terrorizing them. they'll leap forward. I know because I work with people that have done it, that I'm helping them do it. They're doing it all the time. This first sound, you do not think of it as, yeah, I'm singing with my vocal cords. You are, if you do it out loud, but you can do it silently inside and hear yourself in your imagination. And what it's doing is triggering a certain mechanism. It's set up that way in the beginning. It triggers a mechanism in the pineal gland, the center of the brain. It opens a doorway between you, the real being running that body, whether you know it or not. And it allows you to get the body to go into the trance state called sleep while you listen to my voice. It's telepathic. You'll hear my vocal cords, but that's not how I'm communicating with any of you. We are telepathic beings. So the Atma we are, hovering above the body right now, every one of you, is what's communicating and hearing what I'm doing. Not the brain and body, because it goes to sleep. The real challenge is to get you to remain alert while your body goes to sleep, because people on this planet are conditioned to go unconscious with the body when they put it to sleep, right? Everybody knows that. That is not normal, and it is not natural. It is anything but natural or normal. So it's quite a challenge to fix a planet as broken as Earth, the people on it. It's going to take billions of beings from out among the stars who are normal to turn this place around and fix it. Because people on Earth collectively cannot do it before they would destroy themselves. This is obvious to anyone on Earth today that's even a little bit awake. People on Earth are not able to fix this problem before they would destroy themselves. So it has to come from the greater God outside of Earth. Very simple common sense. And common sense is just starting to be done and instituted politically in this country for the whole benefit of the whole planet, not for one country. And what is changing now is being influenced from off-world. Because disclosure has been made, let's just say, mandatory. And certain governments are going to have to cooperate with this now, or it will be done without them. Think about that for a moment. Also, people in certain positions have to have a certain amount of protection to do what they're doing because it's so unique and new to everyone on Earth. They don't understand it. It scares them until they begin to understand it, and then, they relax more. What is protecting certain things from taking place on this planet now is not coming from people on Earth. None of you on this little journey originated on this planet. All of you know this. But remembering this and where you came from and what you used to know long ago, which was vastly higher in intelligence, in much higher DNA bodies, you've already lived, took place before this life where you found yourself on Earth with little or no memory intact. People think babies are born stupid. They can't talk. It's not the body. The body's just growing up. It's the being running the body that's the conscious entity. That's a mature adult if you want to look at it that way, but it's not a body. Can you imagine what Earth would be like right now if people were aware that they were these spherical beings, have always been that, and they were traveling in ships among the stars with other beings that knew this too? What would Earth be like? Fear of death would be gone. All disease would be gone. The genetics would be corrected in people on Earth and greatly enhanced. The technology to do this is ancient. It is not new. It's ancient off-world. It needs to be brought here, or you might as well kiss your ass goodbye. Again. Fortunately, what is underway now out amongst the stars cannot be reversed by anybody on Earth, or we would all be toast. Get this in your head. Begin to understand this, because you need this understanding to progress further. Can't do it any other way. to be awake and be trusted with awakeness, consciousness, co-creative ability with Source, which is a natural part of our being, then we have to accept our responsibility for having created collectively from Source a universe that was fine as far as its structure is concerned, but terrible in the way that positive and negative streams of energy have been misused by people imagining good things and terrible things and terrorizing things and uplifting things. It splits the consciousness in half, grounds the energy coming from Source through us into the earth. People stay grounded here. That is what it does. And this was done by tyrants in galactic history. It is no longer being done. The reptilians, the few that were ever on this planet, were taken off this world, out of our solar system, along with the Greys that used to abduct people, among others. That was not done by anybody on Earth, and it was done more than 25 years ago. There are no new cases of little Gray abductions in all that time. So people in the UFO and disclosure communities are operating, most of them, in the past from 25 years ago. And they don't even know it. Those people aren't a threat to governments. They won't work together collectively anyway. There's no threat there. There is no government on this planet, US or otherwise, that controls satellites, that interfere with this work, or shut it off, or shut down Zoom, or interfere with my emails, or play with my computer, ever, at any time, for any reason. You need to understand why. You won't find me complaining about the men in black messing with me, because I'm telling people the truth. The truth that is being delivered to people through this work is experiential based, not in mindless entertainment information. No. So we will put out the hue now together. You don't have to do it out loud. Just do it silently inside, in the sanctuary and privacy of your own being. Now this is within the spherical Atma. It's not in your brain. When you close your eyes, it shuts off the connection between the negative stuff stored in the water vapor in Earth's atmosphere and you. And it automatically opens another door. If people aren't aware of it, then they just don't use these faculties. They close their physical eyes and go to sleep. They go unconscious with the body. This bad habit must be neutralized. My voice and the way I've been trained and how I work is designed to do this. But it's not really me that keeps your subconscious programs you don't even know you have, most of you, turned off for this journey. It is a couple, a male and female from the Galactic Alliance, who get out of their own bodies aboard a ship to come here to go on these journeys with us. Why do they do it? Because they have changed. They want to go on these journeys above the void with us. As advanced as the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds is, it is located near, not in, the galactic core of this galaxy. 450 million spacefaring world systems are run by a central governing command on a planet called Zetranami 1. And we're going to go there on this journey because you need to have some base, some grounding on another world. It is not like Earth. Humans on that planet do not live like people on Earth. They are not like people on Earth. They do not have subconscious minds, and their governments would never allow them to pick one up. You need to understand this. So we're going to go mix it up with the Galactic Alliance Council at first. There's 5,000 of them. We do not need a spaceship to get there. We do need an Ambassador Turellian, however. And we're going to meet with him when we get out in space outside of Earth's negatively impacted atmosphere. It's necessary because people on Earth are far from normal. Do people really think that people in spaceships come to Earth with refrigerators full of dead cows and pigs and chickens to eat along the way? Think about it. They're not like us. We are not normal here on this planet for the most part. Can't blame anybody on Earth. They were grown up that way. I was compelled to inhabit this body when it was 3. I was an adult extraterrestrial Galactic Alliance personnel that came here to meet with certain people, presidents at the time, and my ship was intercepted. I was killed in a horrible way and forced to be in a body here, because tyrants can't mess with the Atma we are, because it's not made of lower plane energy. They can't program it or anything else. Implants and subconscious programs are not in what you are in the Atma itself. They're in the field of energy, the electromagnetic field that surrounds the outside of who you are, through which you see the universe distorted. People try to awaken themselves on Earth, and this program plays on their nervous system, and they get distracted and go watch a movie, go this way, that way, and they don't progress. This is what implants are designed to do, but they are not little electronic chips under the skin. They're not in the body or the brain at all. It's more diabolical than that. We will send out the hue now. Basics have to be introduced to you. The omnipresent living power of the universe is moving through beings we're about to meet, through me and through you, for your benefit as it moves through you, but it continues beyond you for the benefit of others. This is the only way it works now. You can't grab it, hold it, possess it, or own it. Now, I have just muted your mics from my end to keep a better recording quality for the journey. And that's okay. We'll get those turned back on when we come back. All of this is to prepare you to put your body calmly in the trance state called sleep that you know well how to do, and you've done it every night your entire life. So don't tell yourself and kid yourself it's complicated or hard to do. You do it every night anyway. When you begin to visualize and see what I'll describe for you, you'll actually be seeing it, but not as a brain and body. That will be asleep. There's a couple, which I'm going to, out of respect, I'm going to take the time to describe 2 couples that have been introduced to people on Earth that are not from this planet. And let me remind you all that you are not originally from here either. And the lives you lived before this were much more evolved and much more advanced DNA human bodies, much longer lifetimes, and you lost all that. So you don't have to go learn it in some infinite future. You need to recover what you can't touch, what's suppressed first, in order to progress. A man and a woman named Shantiel and Tonaltiel, and another man and a woman named Dantium and Lamtium, are from a series of planets that are beyond what people call the Pleiades, in the constellation of Orion, or I don't know what it is, in a constellation. But it's past those young blue hot white stars that people can see from Earth. They are part of a vast organization of world systems that travel the stars, even other galaxies. And they travel between dimensions within the lower planes, within the physical universe. Antigravitic propulsion is ancient. Matter replicators are ancient. They don't have problem genomes. They don't get cancer. Microscopic life that can get into a system that is at the first life that was ever developed, that now competes with humanity, they don't exist in their atmospheres. They got rid of all that junk. How many trillions of dollars have been spent for cures for cancer, and they can't even cure the common cold now because cures don't make money. Just that simple. They don't. And that's changing too, which is a good thing. So I'll describe what these people look like, and why I'm doing this is because they're standing, a couple like them, similarly advanced, considered master teachers, and Galactic Alliance personnel as well, are standing beside each one of you. There is a ship stationed in the ice chunks, big 1.5 mile thick ice, water vapor, frozen, that are the rings that circle the planet Saturn. Scientists on Earth today know this. They just don't know how water got out there. There's a ship stationed in those ice chunks that cannot be seen by Earth people or radar. Because that's their technology. They're there to protect us from ourselves. They're there to keep tyrant beings from coming into our solar system, because it was those beings who took them out of here 25 years ago. There's no reptilians with Nazis in Antarctica. None of that nonsense. The problem is people have what's been left in them as subconscious programming. They don't even know they have. They didn't even know it was being done to them. That's through the misuse of a science created by humans on one world that was captured at the end of a great war, which ended 500,000 years ago in space. Those scientists were tortured and made to create this implantation process. It creates a holographic image containing torture, death, and horror, and will kill you, don't ever remember this kind of crap. And they'd sneak around and grab people maybe out of the regular space lanes and, stick some holographic programs in their energy field around the Atma, never in it, and then compel them to be in a body on Earth and told to reincarnate with no memory, like political prisoners. Now think about it. Why would anybody volunteer to come to Earth deliberately to do the will of God? Sure, Archangel Michael or whoever they pray to. I'd love to come to Earth with no memory, because I was told that I could then get it right. If you have billions of years of lives and wisdom beyond your understanding on Earth already stored unconsciously in your being, how can you get it right when the next life or body you're running if you don't have access to any of it? Well, you can't. It's impossible. So that has to change. There is no negative nature in this work, as you all know. Or you should. I'm going to send out the hue now. I think we're ready. Just do it inside silently. Match my tones. I'm going to describe Shantil and Tonaltil and Dante and Lamte. Just picture them, because the couple that's assigned to each one of you may or may not be them, but it will be beings just like them. They don't have subconscious minds through which they can be misdirected. They cannot be influenced by anybody on Earth or controlled or used for selfish purposes. They're way more evolved than that nonsense. These couples look to be about 35 to 38 years old as far as human beings are concerned, about 6 feet tall. Chantal has long blonde hair and robin's egg blue eyes, slightly larger than Earth human. Tonaltil, his mate, his partnership you might say, has long brunette hair and emerald green eyes, slightly larger than Earth human. Dantiam, the male, has golden colored eyes, not brown, and golden hair to his shoulders, and she has ruby red eyes to her shoulders and yellow red hair. Now you're going to have similar human-like beings. And what they are is we're going to go aboard a ship. We're going to go aboard the Emerald Star Cruiser, which is stationed in the ice rings of Saturn right now. And then we're going to meet these people on their terrain, in their territory. No negative atmosphere from Earth affecting you. No subconscious mind problems bothering you. Because these couples are keeping that turned off for you. It's uplifting for them. It's effortless for them. It doesn't take any effort at all for them to do this until you can master this on your own. Now we send out the hue. What it does is make a connection, not with the sleeping body, but with you, the being running it, and source energy itself, which is being brought down, in a sense, channeled through the beings we work with. Not a being channeled through another being. Nobody does that. That's very advanced. It's the source energy itself of which we're made that moves through them, through us for our benefit, and then past us for the benefit of others. This is what we're doing when we begin this process. It is automatic. This was set up in the beginning. The hue from the first half of the word human did not get created or invented by any being or any organization, religious, metaphysical, or any other organization on planet Earth. It did not get originated in the Milky Way galaxy. It did not get originated in the lower worlds of time and space. We come from where it originated. And this must be awoken in people if they're going to become normal. UFO disclosure is just the tip of the iceberg. The beginning of true disclosure is not just telling people publicly that aliens exist and are coming here. No, people on Earth have to experience it. And they have to be prepared to do that, or they'll freak out and riot in the streets and go nuts. And this is why it cannot be straightened out, this planet, from the beings on Earth as they are now, because they've fallen too low in vibration and frequency to fix anything. It should be obvious to everyone. So here's what we're doing. I'll begin the tones now. Do them with me. Just match the tone in the sanctity of your own private imagination. Imagination is not being made up in your brain. It is your ability to see into the multidimensional universe while you're running a body on Earth, not with physical eyes, and know what you're doing, where you're going, and why you would have the one power behind creation take you there. This is how it works. I'll begin the tones now. Remember that I'm doing this telepathically. So the sound is moving through you. I don't own it. I don't possess it. It's not mine. I'm just a drop in a mighty ocean of it, like all of you. When you imagine going to the store, everybody knows how to do that. What they don't realize is that not the brain. They are the ones imagining the store. The body then follows. This is how it really works. When you imagine going to another planet through the medium of space, what people call divine spirit and pray to it, but it's the space that's outside of Earth's atmosphere, that is vast, that appears black or dark blue, surrounds all the galaxies that float in it. But that energy, as scientists and astrophysicists and physicists and quantum physicists know, that energy is what they call toroidal, electromagnetic field energy, or zero-point energy, energy of the universe. It does not observe or obey the laws of physics. It is the energy that supports all that, just like us. The couple that I described for you is standing beside you. All you're doing is imagining like you would going to the store, using the same faculty, hovering near the ceiling, looking down on your body. Do it now. It's not hard or difficult. You do it every night anyway, you just don't know it. So you're a spherical being, very beautiful. I showed it to you. It's on the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book. That's original art. It's the only place on planet Earth, anywhere, in any monastery, in any cave, anywhere in history, where the image of what we look like is displayed for the first time for the planet's people. It's on that front cover. That's what we look like. It's beautiful. It's not like a body. We are made in the image of Source, but it doesn't look like a human body. They got that all wrong on Earth. which is why they stay stupid, stuck, afraid, in fear. Fear is an artificial emotion implanted in the field of energy that surrounds us. The Earth, when you Google this, you look at an electromagnetic field around the Earth, it shows you're coming out the South Pole, going in the North Pole. It's a field of hue energy that allows that planet to turn on its axis and float in another medium. And it goes around the sun, and the sun goes around another sun, and they all revolve around a central nucleus, an axis. That is not a black hole. Human eyes can't see high enough to see it. It is a white golden light in space everywhere that all the little stars and galaxies float in. That is a living, single, conscious power. It is not an individual being. We are. It is not. So we live and move and have our being in this other medium. We always have. It has two forms out in space, sound and light, and we'll get into that. For now, you're near the ceiling, and what you're doing is projecting in front of you from the white core of your being a physical form. In your case, it's all women. About 36, it looks flawlessly beautiful. It is not made of atoms. It's not atomic in nature. It is like a holographic projection with dressed, nice, beautiful body. And this is how we show ourselves to each other, based on the Satnam prototype that began hundreds of billions of years ago. Not in the lower worlds. So this is how we show ourselves to each other. But we aren't that form we're showing to each other. We're the spherical being. And so the couple beside each of you, the male and the female, are showing you, if it's a male, perfectly handsome, about 36. Female, same thing, perfectly beautiful. And then down through under your body, sitting there or lying there, there's a white golden light of this hue sound, the first sound behind creation, moving down through the ceiling deliberately through you, through your sleeping body, and out through the walls of your home, into your community, out into Earth's negatively impacted atmosphere. Because as of these journeys, you start to become a part of the solution instead of remaining part of the problem. This is how it works. This is called the hue expansion ray. It did not exist before in the omnipresent power. It was created, tested in the upper realities, found to be true, necessary, and kind when it was reflected back to Satnam himself, and now it's being implemented. Get used to it. This energy moving down through you has a kind of a deep humming sound, almost rumbling like thunder, but not frightening, no lightning. That's the sound the physical universe makes. It's the sound the omnipresent first sound makes. When you get into the astral and other planes, it has a different sound. But it's the same one living, omnipresent power. The white core of our being as spherical beings is made of this same energy. It's identical to Source. No difference whatsoever. There's a high note of a flute you can hear pulling us upward. This couple beside you point upward, and you suddenly find yourself in outer space, looking at Earth in the distance with its polar ice caps, oceans, brown land masses. It's beautiful. We're at a distance. You don't see any cities or New York or any of that. There's the moon, orbiting the planet. Barren, pockmarked with meteor craters, no atmosphere, does not turn on its axis as it orbits the Earth. That's impossible physically because Earth's gravity and other planets and the sun would have it move somehow, but the moon we have doesn't work. It's broken. And that needs to be fixed. So understand this. And there's the sun, the energy around us in space. We're in a circle of beings around Ambassador Trillian. When we look around us in space, it's a white golden light everywhere. And yet all the billions of suns and blue and white and red and yellow suns that float in this galaxy in it are clearly visible, hovering in this other background energy. That energy out there in space that we're floating in is the hue itself. You cannot bring negative energy and send it into the space and record it there. It does not accept any recording, mental or otherwise. So we're kind of in God in a sense, out in space. But there are many, many higher levels where this sort of energy comes from that we should know how to access. So you're in a circle of beings. I'm a little further out in space, opposite Turellian. Sonia's a little bit more to my left. Margaret, you're on the other side. Susan's to my right. Lee's on the other side opposite me. And there are master teacher beings, this man and woman, standing beside you. And up above all of you is a spherical being hovering there, the real you. This is not physical bodies out here. This is you. The sound is a deep humming. The light is a white golden light everywhere, penetrating us, moving around us. And standing in the center of this circle is Ambassador Turellian. He is from the most ancient human race, maybe the most ancient race there is, called the Say race, S-E-R-A-S, pronounced as if it was spelled S-A-Y-R-A-Y-S. He has an 18-foot tall body, much taller than us, and above him a beautiful, larger Atma than us, but same. That's the real Turellian. The body form he's showing you, if he walked it on Earth, you could go up and touch it. But he doesn't have the burden of pushing around a body, feeding it, and going to the bathroom, or any of that nonsense. The entire Sayres race immortalized their bodies in a unique way over 1 billion years ago. They actually just simply dematerialized, took the hue energy out of it and stored the pattern in one of the little teardrop faculties, a little yellow layer near the white core of their being. And when he needs it, like he's doing now, he just draws on the one power behind creation, manifests the body, does what he needs to do, and then puts it away. So what he's doing is showing you our potential by personal demonstration. The hue is moving through him and through us, from source, out in space. He has his closed fists with 2 thumbs up, and there's a foot-wide golden white light around each, a little brighter than the hue in space, because it's not coming from the physical universe. He's got this little quirky smile. He's a man of very few words. The Sayres had 12-stranded human DNA. We have Sayres DNA in us as bodies on Earth. Galactic Alliance, Reptilians, Greys, Mantis, Tall Whites, Nordics, whatever you want to think of, all have Sayres DNA. They weren't all bad. Most of them were good. Most of them remained good while some went to war. They were being controlled by another race and terrorized to start a war and cause problems. It was with the help of our friends from Andromeda, the next galactic neighbor, that they were defeated. Sealed in a parallel dimension, unable to ever return there. And they're going through changes right now. Reptilians, the ones that were in the War of the Greys, they're all going through a change. They will never be coming back to Earth as tyrant beings. Never. Ever. At any time. That's over. That's done with. When people finally are told the truth and realize this on Earth, this world will change virtually overnight, because the technology to do it is ancient. The beings that know how to clean the atmosphere and radiation, take care of all these problems, that's ancient technology. It is not new. So we're out in space around Turellian. And up above them is hovering 2 of my dearest friends in all creation, Etta and Din, a couple. They are not human. They are master teachers. They are Drens. On their world of Oceania, they evolved the ability to fly through air and atmospheres and defy gravity. Their tail glows like crystal opal in bright sunlight. They can fly several hundred, 250 some miles an hour. They have little eyelids that close down they can see through, and little diaphragms in their nose. They're silica-based, not carbon-based. Master Opelum is over, standing to my right, a little bit further over from Susan. He's about 6 feet tall with pale blue skin. jet black hair to his shoulders, emerald green eyes. Looks to be about 40. He's wearing a Galactic Alliance uniform. He's showing you the actual form he still has on planet Oceania, which is on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy. He's out of body here too. These are master teachers. Ramu with his golden staff, it's quartz with an Ankh symbol on top for eternal life, standing near Earth. Maroon-colored robe, short cropped black curly hair and beard, swarthy skin, dark brown, coal black eyes, simple belt, simple rope for a belt, sandals. These are some of the beings that go with us on these journeys, and I would not conduct them any other way. So, about 3 feet long from the root of their tail, the tip of their nose, adorable beings standing upright on their hind legs. They have a big toe and 4 little toes like a human. They have a big thumb and 4 fingers like a human, but they aren't human. Kind of almost like a salamander, but they're not like a lizard. They're standing upright with their tail glowing behind them like crystal opal in bright sunlight. Big bulbous blue eyes, cute to the dickens, courageous to a fault. When I first met them 100,000 years ago, as a Galactic Alliance representative who came to Earth, they were not master teachers then, but they are now. Above them is Satnam. Why he decided to come down here through a vortex and make his appearance known, he doesn't have a body in the lower worlds. He doesn't have an etheric, mental, causal, astral, or physical body at all. He normally does not step foot below into the void or below his realm. But he does for these journeys. You'll discover that on your own why that's true now. Now he's about 6 feet tall. Looks like he's someone from India. Bronze-colored skin, golden eyes, not yellow. Bald, bare-chested, strongly built, little white tunic dress from his waist to his ankles and 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms. Great big Atma hovering above him, twice as many colors, much brighter than us. And so up above him is a vortex. It's whirling clockwise. It's golden white light turning clockwise. It's like an hourglass with a narrow center. And around it is a blue-green water-like light moving around it. Looks like water, flowing gracefully around it, but it isn't water. And way up the other end of this vortex is a brilliant, what I call brilliant, but it's a pale blue luminous atmosphere, cobalt blue light. That is the void. This vortex bypasses the lower planes of time and space to enter the void and go higher. So we begin this journey in space in this way. Why waste time with other nonsense? Master Light C is here. He has a body in the etheric plane near the void, and he works in the Hue Expansionary Academy above Satnam's realm. He doesn't have a body in the lower planes at all. He did once 5,000 years ago on Earth, but not anymore. These are the beings that are endeavoring to help you recover who you are. They cannot be manipulated. They cannot be lied to. They just see and test if we're sincere, and then from there they go from there. That's it. That's all there is to it. Turellian's 2 thumbs up with the golden light around them about a foot thick is there for a purpose. It's producing a transparent oval field of light, like the hull of a spaceship, around all of us, the entire group. The energy coming into his fists is coming down through the vortex, down through Satnam, which is this big Atma hovering above form that looks human, about 36. He chooses to show us, and it comes down into Etin Din. It comes down into Turellian. It comes through us and create this field of energy. So we stay collectively focused on the journey and don't get lost in astral nonsense or emotion or anything else. We have work to do. Out here in space, when you look at this vortex above Satnam, we're going to charge that doorway with our own co-creative contribution. This is required. If you want to go above the realms of the trap, if you want to go above Maya or illusion, and get over this cycle of reincarnating in bodies with no memory permanently, you can't do it without going above the void. We have to go into energy that has no negative nature and bring that back with us. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. We're going to send out the hue now that you've established yourself out of body here. I've learned how to speak and sing and chant and whatever. I have my eyes open or closed, and my body's in the trance state called sleep, just like yours. But I'm not home. I'm out in space with you. And then you see me standing right beside Terrellian. My little 6-foot-tall body there looks like Captain Calum in the Emerald Doorway book, because that's the form I originally created and superimposed on that form back then. But it's the way I really look that I show all beings. Whenever they want to recognize who the spherical Atma is, I show them a form that looks human. It is not made of matter or molecules or atoms. I've got a Galactic Alliance uniform on, just like Opellum. Terrellian does not. He has a white gown on. He's 18 feet tall with long, slightly wavy hair to his shoulders, slightly pointed ears like an elf, big, beautiful emerald green eyes. Looks like a Greek god. But he was Seire's. The Seire's seeded all life in this physical universes, 144 parallel dimensions of it, and the 144 parallel dimensions of the astral plane, where all emotion moves matter. That's where all our emotion comes from. You have a body and a life you're running there right now. Whether you remember it or not, you're still responsible for it. Because your fear of the present and future has been turned off by the grace of these Galactic Alliance Masterful personnel, which they are, you must understand that on a normal world, by the time a child is 10, they have the equivalent in training and understanding of a person with 10 PhDs on Earth, and I don't think there's a living person on Earth that has that many. They have photographic minds, like we do, even though it's suppressed. They're telepathic, like us, even though that might be suppressed. People call it intuition because they're afraid to actually talk with each other, because then they'd have to be honest, wouldn't they? Telepathic communication we have as beings has no negative nature. Figure it out. The energy that deals with freedom, conscious awareness, enlightenment, and all of that does not work ever with positive and negative, good and bad, or any of that nonsense. Those are opposing forces when people imagine them in a conflicting way, which is how people on Earth are. This is not how beings are from other worlds. You look at that vortex, and we're going to be sending the hue into it and up to Source itself with these masterful beings who will be sending this out with us. Do them with me. Match the tones silently inside yourself. Contribute yourself to the journey, because then you start to become part of the solution and end being part of the problem. I'll begin those tones now. Watch the vortex become brighter. Because remember, the hue's moving through you, and then you're sending it back up this vortex with all these masterful beings. You. We're not going up that vortex just yet. Trailing is pointing with his forefingers, right hand, still got the golden light around it, out in space between the Earth and the Moon. Then he points upward, and we're sent like a teardrop of golden white light in this oval kind of light. Instantly, we're projected up above the Milky Way galaxy in that huge void of golden white light we call outer space. And there's the whole galaxy below us. And off to the left, the first galactic neighbor, another galaxy slightly bigger than ours called Andromeda. And you can see that we're moving down towards the central nucleus of the Milky Way galaxy. You can see out the seventh spiral arm of the galaxy, it's like a little X lit up where Earth is, 2/3 of the way out of that, on that arm somewhere. And then we suddenly move down towards the axis of the central axis, what people call a black hole, which isn't. It's a white golden shaft of light moving up and down through the center of it. It is a interdimensional concentric generator. It generates the hue of a higher power for another plane into the power needed to run another plane below it. And that's what the center of galaxies do, in case you're wondering. Then we're suddenly hovering above a planet, maybe 1/3 of the way outside of the central axis of the galaxy itself. We're hovering above a planet that is 4 times bigger than Earth. It has no polar ice caps. It is glowing. A kind of a pink-blue atmosphere. Changes. And what you can notice is there are 3 worlds the size of Earth with no polar ice caps orbiting this planet. There are domed cities, not great metropolises, much more artistically designed, aesthetically pleasing, pyramidal, round on tripod legs. And you can see these 3 moons at different distances orbiting with domes on them. And out in the distance, before we approach this planet, you look and see that this planet and its 3 moons are orbiting a trinary star system. 3 suns. The fact is, and people on Earth know it today, most of the suns beyond Earth's single sun in our solar system are binary, meaning 2, or trinary, meaning 3. There are some that are quadruple star systems. Some as many as 6, all revolving around a bigger sun with planets revolving around them, which is why they do not have polar ice caps. You're looking at this world. I can describe for you exactly what this sun system looks like, because it has a trinary star system, a big blue-white young hot star at its center. Further out, a yellow sun, a bit smaller but much larger than the one that Earth orbits. And further out, a smaller yellow sun about the size of Sol that Earth orbits. It's trinary. The nearest star to our solar system is a binary star system, not one sun, two. And then you find ourselves moving down into the atmosphere of this huge planet. As we pass through the atmosphere and the cloud layer, we notice that the water vapor is glowing because it's charged with the first sound behind creation, like it should be. As we break through the atmosphere, you see this dome, a long, curved, white stone dome, like a stone. It's not stone. Little sparkly golden lights in it, like granite sparkles in sunlight. There's a spherical glass building on tripod legs. There's waterfalls and walkways and gardens between all these. There's a thin, tall pyramidal building and several disc-shaped or elongated blue foot-thick landing pads. And out in the distance you can see the vast curve of a glowing golden sandy beach. And the ocean beyond it is a bluish green color, luminous. Because that ocean is calm. It's charged with the hue. Earth's oceans and waters are depleted because 8 billion people are blocking. They're not doing their job. They're supposed to be trustworthy, conscious co-creators and caretakers of worlds, not owners and possessors of them. So one of the things that's happening through this work is beginning to charge the water vapor on Earth. Until that's done, no one will have any full freedom or conscious liberation from anything. We're going to move right down as a group around Turelian, right through this dome. It's big. It's like the size of a soccer stadium. It's round. There's a blue disc stage about a foot thick down in the center at the bottom, and then concentric higher and higher circles, widening, of white stone floors and white leather-like chairs on each level. And there are beings standing up in front of those chairs, 5,000 of them. Human, humanoid, oceanian, races that are human with longer ears, all kinds of things. Pashats, which are lion-like people, great friends of human beings. Reptilians are terrorized of these beings, and we'll get into that another time. These are part of the Galactic Alliance. They're wearing a white gown on with a sash golden from the right shoulder to the lower hip. These are the 5,000 Galactic Alliance Council members of the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds, and you are here to meet them. They know we're here. We're a bunch of spherical beings with these bodies we're showing, which they can see, hovering around Turelian, standing on that blue stage, looking at them in a circle all around us. There's a shaft of white golden light coming down into the top of this dome, right through Turelian. Out his closed fist with his thumbs up. He's still doing that. He has a big book under his left arm. Remember, this guy's 18 feet tall. And he opens it. It's got a blue-gray metallic-like pages. There's fire letters dancing on it when you look at it. You can't read it like words. Each symbol represents a whole body of knowledge and information. The only way you can read the Sayre's agenda, because it's titled on the front of this book, is by telepathically linking with it. This is what he brought to the Galactic Alliance Council. When I first met him, I was there. What he brought there changed everybody in that council permanently, so that they would have more of an interest in maybe helping out Earth. Otherwise, they just let it blow itself up. Non-interference and all that, you know. Which doesn't work, by the way. More experienced older races are supposed to care for the younger ones and bring them up in evolution. This is what the Sayres did for all of us. Brought all these races up to spacefaring capability. Turelian's telling you this, showing it to you, and then they vanished. In recent times, they came back into this galaxy, announced to the Galactic Alliance after 1 billion years, they're coming back. They went through a consciousness change too. That was brought through them from the upper realities. The Galactic Alliance Council members are speaking telepathically with one voice. The energy moving through Terrellian is moving an energy from source through them, up through the Atmas you see hovering above the forms they're showing you. It's moving down through them and back through Terrellian. It's moving both directions, but it's one living power. These are normal people in the physical universe. They simply welcome you by placing a hand kind of over the heart area, kind of in the middle of the chest. And they give you a little nod. It would be wise if you returned the kind gesture. They know we're here. Those 5,000 council members are now in a circle, the Atmas around Terrellian and the outside of us in a bigger circle. And we suddenly find ourselves up above the planet, Zetranami 1, which is what it's called, looking at this vortex. Remember how we helped create that outside of Earth's atmosphere? And we're moving up into the bottom of this vortex, whirling clockwise. The sound of a high note of a flute is pulling us upward, and Satnam is simply flying upward into it. And there's a flash of white golden light, and we find ourselves coming out the other end of that vortex, moving upward at tremendous speed in a luminous pale blue, cobalt blue atmosphere everywhere around us. That is the void. You look down and see the vortex goes all the way back to Zetranami 1, vanish. We're approaching what looks like up ahead a diamond, luminous diamond-like beach. It goes as far as you can see left and right. Curves on itself, implying that this beach, whatever it is, circles a big circular landmass. And Satnam stops to hover above the sand. You look down and find your feet wiggling in the diamond-like sand. It's glowing, a foot above the sand. The trees are every kind of tree you can imagine, but the trunks are transparent. There's energy moving up and down them. Satnam points to the sand, and a little grain, one spherical diamond-like crystal radiating light, is charged with you, is sent into the white core of your being. Hovering above the form of your body, you're wiggling in the sand. It brightens you, makes you smarter. It's a gift. And Satnam moves over the top of the trees, and we simply follow him. This is his realm. This is the Atma plane. The sound here is like it sounds like millions of men and women's voices with perfect vocal cords singing the hue together collectively. And then we begin to see who is making that sound. And they are birds about a foot long that come out of the trees and hover in front, one each, male and female, in front of each of you. There's a big Atma, bigger than us, hovering above each one. And you realize that they have vocal cords and they are singing the sound that is supporting the void. Think about that. Beings maintaining the void through sound. They're simply there to say hello and send a little light of the Atma plane right between their eyes into you. And then they vanish back in the trees. They're done. Satnam moves over the jungle, stops to hover above a fountain. 15 feet wide, scalloped white alabaster stone edges. There's a statue of Satnam standing in it. It's a device. 6 foot tall, bronze skinned, golden eyes, bald head, little white tunic dress from his waist to his ankles. 2 gold bracelets on his upper arms, and there's Satnam standing beside it, with the big Atma hovering above him, pointing to it. Because his hands with his palms out are facing down at his sides, And the hue coming in like a shaft of light is coming down through this statue, out the hands, filling the bowl in a luminous golden white sheet of light that's dropping around the outer scalloped edges in an even luminous sheet and dropping behind a circular, flat, donut-shaped, white stone sitting bench with 12 intricately carved scrolled legs holding it up. There are 12 golden hooks, 12 golden cups on the outer edge of that scalloped fountain. The shaft of light coming down into it is one of the many doorways in the Atma plane through which the upper realities feed the lower realities. It comes through this doorway. So the consciousness of Satnam is involved, of course. We suddenly find ourselves moving as a group of beings around Turelian and all 5,000 Galactic Alliance members up this shaft of light. There's a flash of light, and we find ourselves suddenly hovering at the other end, the upper end of the Atma plane, in another realm that was created between the top of Satnam's realm and the beginning of the sixth reality. It is called the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. It's here for a purpose. We are hovering above a tower, a tall, glass-like tower, round, smooth edges up to a flattened oval administration area with another fountain in it, 2/3 of the way up the tower, that comes to a minaret point. There's a shaft of white golden light coming down into it. Surrounding it close are 6 snow-covered blue stone mountains in a circle. At the base of this tower, which comes out of the outer edge of a round white island, is a blue-green luminous lake like a donut. We can see down through this transparent tower, and we notice that there is a pedestal in the very center of the white island down at the base of this tower, 4 feet tall, 2 feet wide, square with curved, polished, rounded edges. Hovering above it is a 4-foot in diameter blue transparent crystalline sphere with what looks like a cobalt blue radiant star hovering in the middle of it. And it's moving energy down from higher realities through this tower into that star and down into the hollowed out interior of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. So Turelian's directing all of you to look out into the distance. And you can see at the base of these 6 mountains, horseshoe-shaped golden tunnels and a perfectly straight white stone roadway coming out of each one, like the spokes of a bicycle tire coming off the hub. They go straight through mountains and jungles and orchards and lands and animals and things you can't have never seen before, and they end at this luminous diamond-like beach, much brighter than the one in Satnam's realm, and it circles the entire circumference of this huge floating landmass. When you look down the western roadway, just going north, south, east, and west, the first turn to the right down that roadway goes into a clearing. There is a very large 4-sided, golden-sided, quartz-capped pyramid surrounded by botanical paradise inside that clearing. To the left side is another clearing, and that has a tall, ivory-colored, like a grain warehouse with a dome on it, and that's another teaching facility. And the road goes down to the west to the ocean, which is made of light, it's not water. And there are teaching facilities there every now and then, each left and right. Every one of these roadways has them. There are thousands of them. This is a place above Satnam's realm where we can actually rub shoulders with beings called silent mentors. They are the beings who maintain and support and create and maintain the multidimensional creation and all the interdimensional doorways between them and all that. They don't normally have any association with us or spiritual evolution or anything else. This is changing too. So they have a presence here. If we want to mix it up with them and kind of get an experience of what it's like to be them, how they see the creation, this is where we come to do that. They do not and will not step foot on earth or show themselves to beings who are, they're just far too evolved for people on earth to even begin to comprehend them. And they're busy. They don't have time to waste on fools. There are 4 silent mentor teaching facilities in the Hue Expansionary Academy. North, south, east, and west. One exists down the middle roadway amongst many in each quadrant, like the quarters of a pizza pie. 2/3 of the way towards the ocean, there's a right turn. 2/3 of the way towards the ocean in the northeastern section, there's a left turn. 2/3 of the way towards the southeast is a left turn into a clearing, and 2/3 of the way down the roadway in the southwestern quadrant is a turn to the right. In each one is a circular stone floor. In each one, except one, is a floating spherical blue transparent sphere with a blue star in it. Around each, like the northwestern quadrant, which we suddenly find ourselves hovering above, looking into it, you will find 12 giant, look like weeping willow trees with broad, spoon-shaped luminous leaves. Standing atop each one is a silent mentor. They choose to show us this form. Each one, male and female, alternating. There are 12 of them atop 12 trees. Each one has a different colored pastel gown on of the color of the spectrum of light. Each one has a spherical being with twice as many teardrop shapes, 4 times bigger than us, hovering above it. When you look at their face, long hair to their shoulders, you do not see facial features. It's not a physical body. You see galaxies upon galaxies, level upon level, because that is how they think. So they're simply sharing themselves, a little bit of themselves with us. We are in a circle of beings around Tyrellian, who's standing in a beam of white golden light above this sphere, above this white stone floor. The energy is moving through him. I'm right by his side. It's moving through me. It's moving through all of us. The 5,000 Galactic Alliance Council members are benefiting, and their wisdom and their intelligence is vastly beyond any Earth human, so we're benefiting from them too. This energy that's moving through these beings, above, in through the sphere they are, hovering above the body form they show us, above these trees, is coming from Source itself. Many dimensions above here. Some people call it the ocean of sound and light, or prime creator, the source, or the ancient one. And there is a presence there much bigger than any Atma you see here, hovering above a white island in the central void of what look like stars revolving around a galaxy. But they are beings, not stars. So you get an image of this, and all we're doing is experiencing whatever it is the silent mentors are doing. The master teachers are all here that were described in the beginning of this journey in a circle around Tyrellian. There's a shaft of light above Tyrellian. If we go up that, we'll go right to Source itself. It's a direct link, an interdimensional doorway. It was created all the way to Source, out in space by Earth. The principle is this: if you cannot wake up or see what these places look like, Satnam's realm is vast. If you want to mix it up and talk with every animal you've ever thought of that had vocal cords and really get an experience of who and what they are and who you are, you go to Satnam's realm. That way we gain the experience of respecting all life, not just life on one little planet Earth. That won't cut it. Then we're suddenly hovering over that first left turn down the western roadway inside the clearing with the big four-sided golden quartz-capped pyramid. There are 2 round, half-round, blue glass doors that open in the side of the flat side of the pyramid. There's a curved kind of a snake-like winding blue stone path, and a little Chinese master steps out of it and waves us inside. He's about 5'5" or 6. Little maroon robe on, little esoteric symbols, little Fu Manchu beard, beautiful Atma, much bigger than us, hovering above him. He's inviting us to go into this teaching facility. So we find ourselves suddenly inside it through those doors, all of us. It's vast inside. There's a foot-thick glowing golden quartz floor. And in the center of it is a massive silver golden tree with roots going right down into this quartz floor. The top of the tree touches the very inside point of the pyramid apex inside. The trunk is transparent. Powerful golden light roaring up and down it. This is called the Tree of Life. And Lightsey is the master guardian teacher of this facility. He was the first one to volunteer to work here after the Geo-Expansion Ray Academy was brought into manifestation. Knows what he's doing. We're going to move through the needles of the branches of this tree as an entire group in an oval, transparent golden light Torellian is still maintaining for our benefit. And as we pass right through the needles and branches, each needle represents a particular location, not only in the U Expansion Ray Academy, but in the upper realities above it, and in the lower worlds of time and space. Each planet, each star, each moon, each location is represented in each needle of this tree, and each type of being. That's why it's called the Tree of Life. And we're going to go right into the transparent, powerful trunk of this tree and be shot upward in a blast of light. And when we come out the other end of that vortex, because this Tree of Life is connected to an even more massive tree. And it is the realm of a being named Agam Purusha. It's a being much more massive than us. He may be even bigger than a silent mentor. And when we come out the end of that vortex, we're in a fiery light. Fiery, red and orange and yellow and green and blue, whirling all around us. We're safe, we're not. This is the raw power of eternity that this being commands. He generates it from a higher power down into the lower worlds. He doesn't get tired, he doesn't get fatigued. When I first met him, I requested to be his friend. I figured he could use one. Most people are terrified of seeing this person, even when they don't bring fear here. I wasn't. So we've been friends, co-creative friends. He's giving us permission, which you have to get from him, to go into the trunk of the Tree of Life, which is much more vast than the one down in Satnam's, in Lightsey's pyramid teaching facility. And we're shot up that shaft of light. When we come up the other end of it, we are now moving forward in a much more massive, much more brilliant cobalt blue light. This is the source, prime creator. The sound coming from the center of that source is beyond human description. We're moving in a group of beings through what we thought at first were stars revolving around the center of a galaxy. And then we realized these are vast beings, much bigger than us, shaped the same way. And they're revolving around a center. And the center is, the third of it is a vacuum, a hollowed out area. Floating in the center of it is a white circular island, very brilliant. And hovering above that island is a massive spherical presence. Thousands of layers of teardrop-shaped faculties. But this is not an individual. This is a nexus. This is the point at which all beings everywhere, all Atmas made like drops out of a mighty ocean of the same energy as individuals, connect. And it has a voice, and it can speak to us. But it's not a guy in a throne. You won't find that here. This presence does not ask us to worship it. We're required to do one thing and one thing only. Return here and help change things from the experiences we've had. This is our destiny. It cannot be avoided. Sooner or later, we must return to this source. Because here there is no negative nature. We weren't allowed to bring any negative nature with us into the void. Can't even take it into the void. So this is more home to us than what you're used to calling planet Earth. Zetranami 1 is more home to you as a Galactic Alliance former member than anything you will experience on Earth. Up here, there is no negative nature. This is pure positive. This is the source energy itself. And it rubs off on us like the silent mentors do. We're moving through the individual teardrops, all different colors, layers of these things in the color of the spectrum. And the space between the individual teardrops is vast, like two stars in space. And we're suddenly shot right into the white, luminous core. The white core of our being cannot be told as different from the white core we're in. And then you hear a voice. It says, it's a gracious baritone voice, vibratory, with an angelic feminine nature to the outer edge of it. And it just says, welcome home. Doesn't need to say anything else. And it commands us to leave this place because if we stayed that far removed from Earth life, your physical body would perish. So we suddenly find a flash of light created around us. And we're hovering over the end of the western roadway above a diamond-like luminous beach. There's a blue-green wave, smooth as glass, curling to break on the beach right in front of us. And it keeps moving all the way around the outer circumference of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. It never stops. Silent mentors who work in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, who we met, maintain this land. There are no moons, no planets, no suns, no stars here. Everything here, including all of you, produces its own light. They are not needed or necessary. You look down and see your bare feet, you know, the body form that looks perfect that you manifest, wiggling its toes in this luminous sand. It's brighter than the sand in Satnam's realm below here. One of the grains from that sand, which looks like a round, polished, radiant diamond crystal, moves up above the sand, darts right up your legs with your energy, and goes into the white core of your being, brightening it. This sand represents the return of your awareness of all the lives you've lived and the presence you've had in the upper worlds above the void since creation began. Then there's a flash of light and we find ourselves hovering above a green emerald beach. We are all the way back down on planet Earth, but not on the Earth you're familiar with. This is an emerald green beach curved like an upward horseshoe. It is on the southern point, third of the way from the southern pole, on a huge continent that is from the left to the right hemisphere. Big mountain range like the Himalayas in the middle of this vast continent. It takes up half the planet. No polar ice caps. The moon has oceans and tides and water and little dome cities, and it's turning on its axis. This is a prototype. This Earth exists in the third higher parallel dimension of the universe. So does Oceania, where Opelum comes from, but Galactic Alliance personnel go between these levels. So their trade isn't just between the planets and suns you see in our Milky Way galaxy on levels of it. Then you begin to understand how vast creation is. There's a couple standing on this beach, 10 feet tall. They're from a planet called Zentarnamon 1. It's located on the other side of the galaxy opposite Earth, in one of the spiral arms. They run a little over half of the planets in this galaxy, and they work in harmony with the Galactic Alliance. They're in harmony together now. That takes up the entire galaxy at this point. They're 10 feet tall with longer necks and longer fingers, longer torsos, longer toes. Beautifully. And when they move like swans. They have ivory-colored skin and silver-colored hair to their shoulders, high cheekbones, and almost violet-colored eyes. They're showing you the body forms they've brought here from planet Zetronomon 1, because they work here in the dome city you see inland beyond the jungle. The emerald glow in this beach is a gift from them. The woman standing by his side is elegant. She has a gold band around her forehead and a downward pointing, emerald cut faceted gemstone. It's glowing. Her hands are up with her palms out, and there's a golden emerald green light around each one. And you realize she's charging this beach. Inland, there's a statue of her in her clearing that has this same thing, which is left on all the time. But it comes from her and from him. Their bodies look to be about 40, but they're showing you bodies that they have immortalized that are 3.5 million years old here. Of course, they're master teachers. They're genetics, masters of genetic science, like the Oceanians, like the Sayrays. Ancient. One of these little emerald green crystals lifts up off the sand. The man points to it. And it enters your white core of your being, hovering above the body form with its toes wiggling in the sand. It goes into the white core and then goes out to the green layer, starts turning on some of those higher faculties. Turellian is standing offshore out into this calm blue-green luminous ocean. Normal worlds, oceans aren't, they're smooth, calm. There's no tidal waves or earthquakes or tornadoes or any of that crap. That's all from negativity from people getting in the way. These ocean waters are charged with the hue. Inland, you see miles back there a single white snow-covered mountain to the right, the end of a straight moss-covered pathway. To the left on the lower plateau is a clear dome covering 3 4-sided golden quartz cap pyramids in the back third, a semicircular mountain range with little waterfalls coming out of caverns for the aesthetic pleasure of the people in it. It goes into an oval blue-green lake, and this is a kind of a research facility. Some silent mentors come here, the Sayrays come here, Galactic Alliance personnel come here, the Xeotronamus come here. And this little glowing emerald crystal is a gift. Because this energy from this crystal has to do with remembering all the lives you've ever lived in the lower worlds of time and space below the void that have some constructive value. You will not find bad lives in past lives unless you learn something from recovering them. They're unnecessary. In the end, all negative things are erasable. The pleasurable experiences, all the benevolent and uplifting experiences are not erasable from your being. And you find yourself hovering suddenly above your body back on Earth. This man and woman from the Galactic Alliance is still beside you, smiling, and then they vanish. You can see in your own vision that there's a mile-long cylindrical ship with a thin, pale blue, luminous anti-gravitic light around the hull. There's little horizontal oval view windows down the central section of the hull around the ship, and curved bridge windows on each end. It's designed to go through interdimensional doorways from a bridge control on each end of the ship. There are a number of Galactic Alliance Scout moving around this vessel with 3 semispheric pods on the bottom, also with blue anti-gravitic light. And you can see right into an upper lounge area, about 2/3 of the way towards the front bridge. It's in the ice rings that surround the planet Saturn. And you see these beings, the couples that were standing beside each of you, getting up their sleeping bodies from egg-shaped blue cushioned chairs on a blue luminous carpet next to oval glass-top tables. And then you see an energy of golden white light from this experience move down through you, the spherical being you are, down through your sleeping body in the trance state called sleep. And it continues through you for your benefit, but it works through you and goes through the walls out into Earth's atmosphere for the benefit of others. There are 3 pyramids stationed on the bottom of 2 of Earth's deepest oceans, 2 at the bottom, and one in a hollowed-out interior of the mountains in the Himalayas. Four-sided, golden-sided quartz cap, and they have a statue of Satnam. It's a device in each one. It's not made of material matter. And they are turned on. The energy from our experience goes into those pyramids. It's beamed to a much bigger pyramid that is stationed between two stable asteroids in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet between Mars and Jupiter. And it's beamed from there all the way to the galactic core of our galaxy and up that shaft of white golden light. It returns to the source we just came from, and it never stops moving. We are back. When you're ready, wake your body up, open your eyes. This journey took on characteristics of others because Sonia was here and she needed a bridge to those experiences as well. But it's each time it's different, each time it's beneficial. You're going to gain something from this journey. You'll notice it in a few days. You just look at things differently. You can turn on your mics. Hi, Lee.
Oh,
How was that for you, Lee? Did you do good with it? Hi, Sonia.
kind of in and out actually.
That's good. No worries. The body goes to sleep. You don't have to worry about that. How about you, Margaret?